Munich versus Real Madrid, the most oft-repeated fixture in the whole history of European club football, because come the business end, these two are almost always there. Kroos, beyond Ronaldo, Benzema! And gathered by a sprawling Manuel Neuer. What a terrific header! Thumping header for Bayern Munich from Arturo Vidal! That is one cracking goal, and Bayern Munich draw first blood. Robin for Vidal! And pretty close with another crunching header.
Oh, Vidal knows it, he should score.
Ronaldo twisting, Ronaldo shot! And a firm-wristed save from Manuel Neuer. Ribéry made a yard. From Ribéry against Carvajal, penalty! Arturo Vidal has blasted it high and horrible. And Bayern's moment has got away. Carvajal, Ronaldo equalises for Real Madrid in a flash. It's been a while, but Cristiano Ronaldo is back on the Champions League score sheet. Modric again, driven at Bale! Fabulous fingertip save from Neuer. Ronaldo's ahead of him. Ronaldo's gone over Martinez, who has just been booked and is going to walk here. Javi Martinez will see red, and Bayern Munich are a man down. Benzema beyond Kroos for Ronaldo, and Neuer saved again.
So close, such a strong hand to that ball from Ronaldo.
Asensio, and this time it is poked home by Ronaldo, and Real Madrid lead in Munich. 100 European club goals for Cristiano Ronaldo. Kroos plays it in, and it's headed in. No, offside. Ramos has his celebrations cut short. It was the last action of the evening, not quite the last action of the tie, of course. Ancelotti will still want to say, but Zinedine Zidane and Real Madrid have had the biggest say in the first leg here in Munich. Bayern Munich 1, Real Madrid 2.
Another fine night for Real Madrid, and you know who. Right place, right time, not once but twice, and it might have been better for him, worse for Munich. 2-1 in the end. Real Madrid take a lead back to the Bernabeu. There's the chance that went begging. Turns out he's okay. Real Madrid sitting pretty, you would say. And when you think back to a first half, the Bayern largely, certainly in patches, dominated, scored one. As we'll see, could have, maybe should have made it a better scoreline at half-time, Michael.
Yeah,
it was a long time ago.
It was, it just seemed a long time ago. But you just feel with Real Madrid, as we see the marking of Nacho on Vidal here, he was never really the right side of him. He was always on the wrong side, always about a yard or two out of position, and Vidal bullets a header into the goal. But you just feel with Real Madrid that they're very... I know they look as if they can concede in most games, but they do look as if they can fight out a a defensive performance as well. And then when the going starts going into their favour a little bit, then they start opening up. And here's the penalty again. We said at half-time that none of us believed it was a penalty. The arm is up, but then it comes down. I'm not even sure if it hits him on the arm, whether it's the top of the chest or shoulder, but I don't think it's a penalty. And justice was done here.
Yeah, he'll not want to see that one ever again, I don't suppose.
No, they missed an important one in the semi-finals last year, wasn't it, against Athletico, Thomas Muller. Lewandowski's not playing, so Vidal, I mean, there was no thought behind it. He was just trying to kick it as hard as he possibly could.
What a massive game changer. It could have been 2-0 going into half-time. I mean, it's small details like that.
They still should have been on top of half-time, shouldn't they? But, as Michael rightly said, Real Madrid now are not that, that walkover, not that easy team to beat. Now, you have to work hard to break them down. We've seen it all year, really, this year in the Champions League. You have to do something special to grind them out, and Zidane's worked wonders with them again in the second half. Not to panic. They come out in the second half.
What,
And
minute and a half
they were the ones who were on top straight away, wasn't it? And we mentioned before the game, 3 and 9. He's having a poor year, Ronaldo, in the Champions League. And he rectifies it. Look at his movement here. He's sprinting in. He's pulled out away from Javi Martinez and Jerome Boateng. And Carvajal was excellent. What a cross that was. Drilled across the outside of his right foot, slicing across it. Ronaldo does the rest. This one was a great goal. The second one, as Michael pointed out before, was a brilliant goal. 2 great finishes from a great executioner.
2 great finishes, both from crosses. And I think the point to make is when you're in that type of position, you don't necessarily know where the ball's going to go, but you make a movement that if the ball comes in a certain area, you're always the one that's free. A lot of the time, it's getting in front of a defender. And as I say, half the time, most of the time, the ball doesn't come to you. But the worst thing is if the ball does come in your area and you're stood behind a defender, because you'll never, ever score a goal. So he's always on the move, always looking for a space. And it happened twice for him today.
Even his second goal, his movement for the second goal was brilliant. Always in front. He was in front of Bernat. He was looking along the line to make sure he was onside. His movement was excellent tonight, whether he got the chances or not, and he did. You know, when they fall to him, where Thomas Muller was on the periphery all game, wasn't he? They really missed Lewandowski tonight. I know it looked more that they missed him when they went down to 10 men, but he never had a sniff, really, Thomas Muller did. He had a little bit of a chance early on, where Cristiano looks dangerous all the time.
Javi Martinez also will have regrets, won't he? Because they're 2 kind of cheap yellows, aren't they, really? In the context of the tie of the game.
Yeah, the areas they were in, you look at the amount of bodies behind the ball. It's hard, I suppose, when you're running at that pace to almost get out of the way, but this you just can't afford to go down. You've got plenty of bodies around you again, and to do it in such quick succession, no question about it. It's definitely a yellow card. I don't buy into the fact that, it's, you know, it's got to be more of one because it's a red. It's a certain. It would have been a yellow if he hadn't have been, you know, given a red in the first place. It's a certainty.
And then it became a little bit Alamo-esque, didn't it? Inevitably, they did have that game management, as you say, Maka. They knew how and when to press.
Look at Ronaldo's movement. Look, he's got Boateng in his sights. He knows he's onside. He knows he's in front of Bernat, and has finished with the bottom of his studs. It's just bliss, isn't it? You know, he pokes it down. He gets a little bit of luck as it goes through Neuer's legs, but he deserves it for his opportunism. You know, Neuer was in sparkling form tonight, and it takes one to bounce through his legs, actually, to beat him. Yeah. But, you know, Ronaldo gets the plaudits because he's in the right space at the right time, and he's always there, just in case.
Well, over the 2 halves, actually, Neuer's kept them in the tie. I know they're trailing 2-1, but were it not for some of these incredible saves, actually, when you look back at them.
Yeah,
we looked at this one at half-time.
That was amazing. This is the perfect angle, just creeping underneath the bar, and he gets a tiny touch, tiny bit of luck as well, but who's going to begrudge him that throughout the game? Yeah. Again, you think all Bale's got to do is hit the target there with the pace on the cross. But even that's not good enough with him. No, he's kept them in the team. They have got a fighting chance.
Yeah, that looked as if it was quite innocuous, and then you see it from here. How strong is that right hand?
Yeah.
It's like a martial arts expert, isn't he, the way he pokes it out? And that was the only thing that, as I said, if you can be critical, it was once they went down to 10 men, Bayern looked really vulnerable, and that surprises me for a team of their ilk and their quality. You know, he still plays with 2 wide men. He still plays with Thomas Muller up front, and he eventually changed it when it was too late. But Madrid made chance after chance after chance, and you could see it coming. The only person who couldn't see it coming was Carlo Ancelotti, and they've got good defenders on the bench. You just felt he should have shut up shop at 1-1.
And maybe, exactly, taking that score.
Taking that score to him,
You would have to think that Hummels and Lewandowski have to be fit next week to give him a sniff.
Yeah, in particular Lewandowski. I mean, goal scorers, strikers are the most important players in that sense. And it's not just his goals, it's his presence. You know, there was a few times when there was a bit of build-up play, and you're just looking for someone with that presence to move in the right areas. And we said before the game, you know, we're not 100% sure that Muller is that centre-forward. He's never really struck me as a first-class centre-forward, so Lewandowski's the key.
If they've got Robben and Ribéry, or Robben and Diego Costa, I was going to say, Douglas Costa on the left, you know, the 2 wingers and Lewandowski up front, they will score next week. I don't think there's any problem with that. But they need the big man back. They need the number 9 back to lead the line. As Michael said, he holds the ball up and brings people into the game. He's got good form in a Dortmund shirt and a Bayern Munich shirt against Real Madrid. He can do it against them. They need him back.
They do. Coming up next, highlights of the two other quarter-finals played tonight. Of course, the rearranged Dortmund-Monaco game. Goals in that one, you won't be surprised to hear after yesterday's unfortunate, distressing events. And then, could the one remaining English hope keep the dream alive and get a result in the Calderón home to Athletico Madrid? That, of course, being Leicester. Find out in just a couple of minutes.
Oh, it's a terrific header! Thumping header for Bayern Munich from Arturo Vidal! Arturo Vidal has blasted it high and horrible. Carvajal, Ronaldo equalises for Real Madrid. Ronaldo's gone over Martinez. Javi Martinez will see red. Asensio, and this time it is postponed by Ronaldo. And Real Madrid lead in Munich.
Well, from Real's 2-1 win in Munich to Madrid, to see if the Leicester City fairy tale could continue. Their opponents in the Spanish capital, last season's beaten finalists, Diego Simeone's Athletico. Both teams were pretty much as expected. Athletico with Griezmann and Fernando Torres leading the line. Leicester without the injured Wes Morgan. Johan Benalouan started at centre-half alongside Robert Huth. Commentary from Robbie Savage alongside Darren Fletcher.
Leicester City's magical European adventure continues. And the shot thunders back off the post from Koke. Superb strike.
Thunderbolt to that near post. Michael would have just had it covered, but maybe not.
Here's another one who's in good goal-scoring form. 2 in his last 5. He's not renowned as a goal-scorer, Koke, but he's found a bit of form. Here's Antoine Griezmann.
Once against Griezmann, look at the position he's taking up. You know, indeed he slips. You know, it's a speculative effort from 30 yards. We started the game very well. But I think Leicester will be happy, Darren. You know, what, 12 and a half minutes in. No real clear-cut chances for Atletico.
Now there's space here for Antoine Griezmann and lots of it. Yannick Carrasco's making the run from the middle. Fernando Torres is getting forward as well. Griezmann's gone down. Referee says penalty. Mark Albrighton's challenge. And it's a penalty to Athletico Madrid and a yellow card for Mark Albrighton.
Well, the big question, Darren, is in or outside. The referee feels it's inside. For me, just outside the box. Wrong decision, referee. Outside the box. Poor decision.
Huge moment in the tie in the Calderón. Griezmann versus Schmeichel. And Griezmann scores. Atletico star now with the first goal of the game and Leicester City behind in Madrid.
Yeah, fantastic penalty from that man Griezmann. He was cool, sent Schmeichel their own way. Very good penalty, but very harsh penalty for Leicester.
Felipe Luis for Athletico Madrid. And Koke. Koke's going to hit one! Hits it well as well.
Not afraid to shoot from range. This time it's Koke. He's took the outside of his foot there for taking the ball always away from that post to Schmeichel. Just see the way he cuts across it, outside of his right foot. The spin just takes it away.
Albrighton skips away from Gabi. Saul Niguez comes across for Athletico Madrid. Aims it towards Robert Huth. It's going to fall here for Danny Simpson. And then the chance was there for Huth. And then Mahrez. And he couldn't bend it round enough.
Causing problems once again. That long throw. The ball fell to Simpson on the edge of the area, didn't strike it well. Just seemed that Huth couldn't sort his feet out quick enough there. Look, it took him an age to pull his foot back and try and get a shot on target. And then Mahrez, there's a curl it in that top corner, way too much on it. But better from Leicester.
And now Saul Niguez, Gabi anchors things in central midfield for Atletico Madrid. Koke to Fernando Torres, and still Fernando Torres. Well, how often have we seen him put it in from that kind of position? And the slip was so important for Leicester.
He hasn't scored since February the 21st, and That is a massive chance. You know, Huth can't sort his feet out. He just slips at the vital moment. His left foot there goes away from him. Massive let-off there for Leicester City.
Space out wide for Juan Fran, who's looking to get forward from right back, but they've not gone there initially. They do now. Here's Thomas Partey. Gavi looking to get Juan Fran in behind, and he is in behind, and he looks to tee up Griezmann, and Benelux was there in the nick of time for Leicester City. How big in the balance of things will that clearance be?
Huge challenge there, but you see Fuchs, he went with a runner, and then seemed to do an overhead kick, hit him back on the head. Great defending, done well Benelux one time.
Very, very professional job done by Leicester City. And there it is. And they leave the Calderon with just a one-goal deficit given to them by Antoine Griezmann in the first half. Craig Shakespeare can be satisfied with a night's work from his team. That little tactical switch in the second half, playing Ndidi slightly deeper, snuffed out Griezmann's threat. Just that disputed penalty in the first half, the difference between the sides. And Leicester City will feel they've got every chance in the second leg next Tuesday at the King Power Stadium. Full time at the Calderon. Atletico Madrid 1, Leicester City 0.
Well, I think 1-0. We would probably took that before the game. Obviously, we come here to try and get the away goal. But again, you saw what a top team Madrid are. And as you say, we come away and we've got a good home record at the King Power. And the tie's still alive.
To come here and still be in the game, you know, was the main objective of tonight. We can take them back to ours now, and hopefully, like we did in the last round, overturn the deficit.
Should we talk about the key moment, Casper? I could see you gesture to the officials just how far outside the box you thought it was.
It's plain and obvious to see. It's it's ruined our game plan. It's a decision that very tough to take when it's so clear and so obvious. We should have had something from this, but we have to accept these things, apparently.
Should Leicester have been in that position in the first place? You'd caught on that sort of classic Atletico counter.
Doesn't matter. We made a challenge outside the box, and they probably, they might have scored from that free kick, but obviously there's a much bigger chance of scoring from a penalty, but it's never a penalty.
I think I've seen enough throughout the squad being working with them. We know what we're about at the King Power, and we know that what we've got to do.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, they're, I'm sure, pretty happy with the 1-0 scoreline. You heard as much in the interviews. It might have been better. Certainly, Kasper Schmeichel very unhappy about the decision to award a penalty. What did you two think?
Well, I thought it was just outside the box. I didn't think it was really clear-cut. I think Mark Albrighton needs to be, held accountable because it's a poor decision to run at him like he did. I think his angle of the way he ran at him was really strange because he almost ran directly at him as opposed to alongside him. No question in the penalty, Griezmann again, but it's it was certainly a foul. I think you could say they were slightly unlucky, but Leicester didn't have a shot on target all game, and I think, as they said, 1-0 is probably a fair result and a good result.
I believe an offence that starts outside the box, if it continues into the box, the directive is that can be considered a penalty. So, in that sense, it's a grey area.
I mean, the one thing I would disagree with Kasper, it wasn't clear-cut, wasn't it? It was...
Yeah.
It looks as if the infringement did start outside the box. I'll give him that. But I certainly didn't think it was clear-cut. The referee was in a great position, and they may feel they were slightly unlucky. This was another challenge, a Jamie Vardy challenge. But they may feel as if they were slightly unlucky, and you can probably see why. And with Michael, the rashness of the challenge bothered me because he didn't need to go anywhere. Griezmann was running out of play. If anything, he wasn't in a dangerous position at all on the field. He's running down the left-hand side of the pitch, admittedly towards goal, but also towards the touchline.
Yeah.
So it was the rashness of the challenge that bothers me. But you can see why they feel, slightly aggrieved. But when you are talking about millimetres or centimetres to a certain extent, you have to be very careful, don't you? We've seen it when there's offside decisions, and he could have just been offside, and they've been given against teams. You can't get yourself into that situation where a decision can go against you like that for the sake of a couple of centimetres either side.
Yeah. Leicester right in the tie, although Atletico Madrid have only conceded 3 away goals all season in the Champions League, so they better not concede Leicester next week. After yesterday's unfortunate events in Dortmund, the match with Monaco was rearranged for earlier this evening. Your commentators for the fixture, Don Hutchison alongside Derek Ray.
Now a chance perhaps here for Monaco, and the penalty is given. Yellow card as well for Socrates. It all happened in a blink of an eye, and a spot kick forthcoming.
I have to say, I think Mbappe's gone down a little bit too easy.
The boos ring around the stadium as Fabinho misses. Oh, how big will that moment be in the grand scheme of things?
Oh, there's a smile on his face, but he pulls the penalty big time left. It's poor execution.
Piszczek guides it in. And it comes to Ginter. Touré's headed clearance, and now Bernardo Silva, the way he goes, scurrying forward, the Portuguese international. Went right the way through the middle. Lamar pulls it back, and bundled over the line by Mbappe. Monaco strike first, and it's an away goal to boot.
Lamar gets it on his left foot, borderline offside. You have to say Mbappe looks offside. It's very fortunate how it's found its way in the back of the net.
Here is Raggi. Wouldn't expect him to venture forward too often in open play. Oh, it was a fantastic ball, and Sven Bender has nodded the ball into his own net. It's all going to plan for Monaco. Purki beaten, and Dortmund all over the place.
If he's going to do anything there, he's got to go height and distance. That's a big goal to concede.
There's Rafael Guerreiro. And Aubameyang, Kagawa! Dembele from close range! And Borussia Dortmund are back at the tie.
They come wide to Guerreiro, who puts a lovely cross in the box. How about that touch, by the way, from Aubameyang to find Kagawa, who puts it on a plate from Dembele, who's not missing from there. Fantastic team goal, it really is. An unbelievable touch, by the way, from Aubameyang, if he's meant that.
Oh, what a chance as it opens up now for Monaco. Dispatched with aplomb. Mbappe.
It's a poor ball from Piszczek. Just gives Socrates no chance there, really. He couldn't have spotted Mbappe being there. But how calm is that from the youngster? Great placement, straight into the top corner. Roman Bürki's got no chance of saving that. The killer for Dortmund.
Şahin.
Got to keep working it wide. Got to shift it wide to Pulisic's feet.
Kagawa. Shooting position. 3-2. Shinji Kagawa.
Well, it's all about the touch from Kagawa. This world class. But this is not an easy ball to control. Ball comes in from the right side from Şahin. Unbelievable touch. Then he sits Jemison down. So a really good goal that from Dortmund.
It was this experience nobody wanted to have, but we had it, and it was so close. And of course, we all know that there are much more important things than soccer. But yesterday we got the feeling for it, and we felt it instantly that soccer is not the priority in all our lives. But we wanted to have a bit more time to deal with it. We didn't get the time, so we had to make the best out of it. But we wanted to have time to be in the best shape, because it's also our dream to go through to semi-finals, and we had the feeling that we are not in the best shape mentally and focus-wise to play this game today, and this felt this in altogether did not feel good.
Well, you can only sympathise really with Dortmund's predicament, because I think most teams would not have wanted to play in these circumstances, but I guess there was no alternative.
You can only sympathise, you can only agree, really, because you can only imagine what it would have felt like being on that bus, but certainly you would feel as if you're in no state mentally to play football, especially when one of your players is in hospital and can't play as well. I mean, it's it's a strange one. You understand why. There's so many different reasons why. Everyone's in place, and of course then the fixture list and the backup and everything else that it spoils the draw for the next round and all these things. However, you know, the bottom line is that, you know, something really bad happened one night, and mentally it must have been really hard for them.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm amazed they played the game tonight.
Oh, yeah.
I'm absolutely amazed. Forget about external factors, fixtures coming up. They just cancel this game and play the first game next week. You cannot expect players who have been in an explosion, seen a teammate taken to hospital, the goalkeeper sat next to Mark Barcher, you can't expect them to be ready to play less than 24 hours later. I think the decision is absolutely abominable to do. Whoever made the decision, I mean, we think it's UEFA.
I think it can only be UEFA.
And it can only be UEFA. Yeah. I think it's appalling, I really do. Yeah. I do, regardless of the results, and even if Dortmund would have won 12-0, I still would have thought they shouldn't have played it. You cannot play 24 hours later, no chance, when one of your players is in hospital. Yeah. I think it's appalling, I really do.
One game that did take place last night you were at, and Juventus picked the kind of holes in Barcelona that others have also picked, and it feels this time it might be a step too far.
Yeah, you just think that they can't lose 3 goals, can they? With Chiellini, Barzagli if he plays,
Bonucci.
You know, Bonucci, Dani Alves, they've got far too much experience. I thought Barcelona, as most of the time, good going forwards, but Mathieu, Sergio Roberto, they're not good enough at this level. They haven't got that amount of kudos to take, you know, to make decisions themselves and take the balls forward and have that confidence. I feel at Barcelona, whoever gets the ball just wants to pass it as soon as possible to the front three, and I think that's really hindering them. Who'd have thought of the 4 quarter-finals that the one involving Leicester is the most up in the air?
Yeah, that's evenly balanced. Of course, an away goal would have been brilliant from Leicester's point of view. However, the King Power is a difficult place to play. There's a lot of belief there. Even in the lads' interviews after the game, they were all mentioning coming back and get them at our place now. Atletico Madrid are a tough team. They travel away as well as they are at home. They're just a solid outfit. However, it's a decent enough result.
It is. Fingers crossed for next week. After the break, we'll be hearing from Zinedine Zidane and Carlo Ancelotti before we turn our attention to the Europa League, where, of course, tomorrow night Manchester United face Anderlecht in the quarter-final first leg. All the pre-match news coming, but before the break, a little reminder of how United made it to this stage.
Ibrahimovic puts it in. Pogba. That's Unifica. Lingard. 4-0. United running riot. Absolutely stunning. Manchester United lead. Absolutely fluid. That's a moment of brilliance. And Ibrahimovic can seal it here. And seal it he does. There's the goal they were looking for. And that's the goal to take them through to the last stage of the Europa League.
Zinedine, was that the perfect evening? It's a big result. It isn't easy to come here and win. We all had to dig in. It was a tough first half, but we ended up getting a good result. It could have been a Arturo Vidal's night, but it ended up being Cristiano Ronaldo's night, and he scored for the first time in a while. It always comes down to small margins in football. You have to believe until the end, and we did just that. We were patient in our approach and played with our heads, which is how we managed to pick up a good result. When they went down to 10 men, we created plenty of chances to get a third. And it's a shame that we didn't take one. But their goalkeeper was in top form.
Muy bueno, sí. ¿Crees que una tercera podría ser más decisivo?
Do you think a third goal would have killed off the tie? Not necessarily, but it would have helped. Scoring a third goal certainly would have been a bonus, and we had plenty of chances to do just that.
How disappointing is that result today? And, you know, how crucial was Arturo Vidal's miss today, do you think?
Yeah, we had a different expectation, of course. The performance the first half was good. We had the opportunity to go 2-0 up, and after 3 minutes we were 1-1, and so it's difficult to accept. I think that the little details determine the result, but we have to accept. Fortunately, we have only 90 minutes. We played only 90 minutes. We have to play 90 minutes in Madrid. It will be difficult, but we are still alive.
Still alive, just. We'll see what next week brings. Tomorrow night, meanwhile, Manchester United play the first leg of their Europa League quarter-final in Belgium against Anderlecht. Earlier today, we caught up with Paul Pogba ahead of the game.
Pogba! That's beautifully done!
Manchester United is a big club, one of the biggest in the world, and everybody knows that. And so one of the biggest clubs in the world has to play Champions League. That's what we want.
The world record transfer fee, does that put a bit of a burden on you?
It was funny because I forgot about this. So I don't even think about this anymore, you know. When I'm playing, I'm just happy. Unfortunately for me, I've touched the crossbar and the post like a few times, but you know, that's football. It's always a pleasure to see your manager supporting you in anyhow. So for me, it's been very good. We've been talking. Tomorrow is a big game, important game, because Anderlecht wants to win too. They're here. They're not here to play a friendly game. Not losing is okay. For sure it's okay, but the best result we can have, it's a win.
Well, win the tie, win the competition. Do they need to win the competition to be sure of Champions League?
You'd say so, the way the Premier League's looking at the moment, and they couldn't have asked for a better trip right the way through. The teams that are left in it, they've avoided Lyon, who are probably the other strong side in it. It's there for the taking. Manchester United are by far the best team in the competition in my eyes. They've been given a decent draw, home in the second leg. You can see them going all the way.
You'll be there. We look forward to it. Thank you very much, Mike and Stephen. As always, pleasure to have you both along. 100 European goals and counting for Ronaldo. Should have had more, but 2 will do for Real in Bayern. See you later.